What's up, weirdos? What's going on, my Pith Army? How's everybody doing? Nice little morning. Bitcoin looks juicy. Pith looks juicy. We're going to get into every little bit of it, guys. Listen, we have been accumulating Pith for well over a year. So congratulations to everyone who's been listening to me over on the Patreon. And what I would say is this. Yesterday as well, if you were a member of the Patreon, you would have seen the swing trade that I pulled off on my in-laws portfolio, where I took massive profits on their crypto.com, their crow, and I rolled those profits where, you might ask? Where did Rob roll those profits? Pith. That's right. So talk about compounding gains, my friends, right? Talk about compounding gains. That's why you want to be a member of the Patreon, guys. You would have made so much money for the price of a cup of coffee, right? Just saying, just putting it out there, guys. The link is in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. Let's get into the chat, see what's going on out there, guys. Look at Bitcoin, back up to $113,100. We got as high as about $113,500. Not too bad, not too bad. Big C, what's up, brother? Morning, Rob, a crypto fam. Rob, can you look at Crow chart? Will it be correct, or do you think it's going to run more? It's definitely going to correct, right? It's definitely going to correct. These things don't just keep running without any kind of correction forever, right? Here, let me. The thing is, where it is right now is not really a significant level in any capacity, right? That's the thing. So Crow may very well keep running, to be honest with you, right? If you look at the chart, this is not really a significant range that it's in right now. I suppose it could become one. However, right now, I mean, we're talking... There's not really a bunch of liquidity in this area, right? I mean, if you come over here, you got a little bit when you zoom in, you got a little bit of static in this range, but not a lot, right? Nothing that I would say, oh, that's going to be major resistance, right? So I don't think you're really going to have much major resistance until you start getting around, I mean, you could meet some around there. That's around 41 cents 9. You could meet some resistance right around there. That's 44 cents 8. You got a little bit of static right about there at 48 cents 6. Those are the levels I would expect to see some resistance. You don't really have much right now. So, yeah. I could see some consolidation right here for a few days in this white box. I could see that happening for a few days, but I don't think you're going to really meet much resistance till you get up here for significant levels. So, yeah. Let's get into the chat. We only got the one super chat today. Wow, one super chat. I gave you guys Pith. You guys are making money hand over fist right now. Hand over fist with Pith. 63.9%. William, what's up, buddy? Alfredo's in the house. What's going on? Pith Network is pumping. How do you think it's going to go? Well, I mean, it just got massive news that we're going to cover, right? So... we'll have to see. William says, line it up. In line says Ditto. Ditto's in the house. First Pokemon of the day. Rob, decentralized mobile networks. Do you think they will last long term, or are they getting squashed by the giants? Well, I think it's going to be a long period of contention where obviously these big companies that hold monopolies are not just going to surrender. But eventually, yes, these decentralized networks are going to start to win in the big picture, because no matter how much you lobby Democrats and stuff like that to try to crush companies, because that's what they'll do. They'll just start throwing money, AT&T and all that stuff. They'll just start throwing money at Elizabeth Warren and all these other Democrats to try to crush these decentralized mobile companies, right? But in the end, disruptive technology always wins, right? So yeah, I do think there is a future for decentralized mobile networks, and the reason is because people will not pay these exorbitant fees to these companies when they can get on a decentralized mobile network, right? So yeah. Quentin, good to see you, buddy. Ari, what's going on? Good to see you, dear. Good to see you. Brian's in the house. There she is. Gamma Goddess. Hope everyone's doing well. Hit the like button, please. Let's get this money. Oh, house. What's up, buddy? Missed the damn Pith train. I chose Swift instead. Hey, Swift's a good project too, brother. Swift is a good project too. Fridge, I'm not in Pith, but I appreciate what you do, brother. What do you think about Zebek's? Do you think Zebek stops bleeding? Let's look at Zebek. I think as long as it is, you should be scooping it up, man. Not financial advice, but we wicked right off support here, as you can see on Zebek. We touched support, we wicked right back up again. I think if you want to get Pith, you're in a good range to do it, honestly, man. This area right here is a high liquidity area. I don't know if you're really going to drop much lower than that, to be honest with you. You might on a wick or something, but I think a little bit of consolidation here where the liquidity is, and then we're going to make another run up here to try to break through 205. I think that's what you're looking at. So, Big Kev, what's up, man? Thanks for introducing me to Crow. Been buying it since yesterday. Making that money. There you go, man. There you go. Roll it over. Roll those profits. Make that cheddar, man. That's what I like to hear, guys. I love seeing you guys winning. I love seeing you guys winning. David says, Trump. There you go. Danny, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Where was my spot? I lost my spot. There we go. All right, guys. Make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe. We got 215 people here. We got 40 likes. Let's get to 100, guys. Let's get it to 100 likes. Do me that favor. Perez, yo. Congrats to all the Pythians. Yes, exactly. Got to call up the White House and get them using Zebek and XCN for real. Motivation Daily, first stream of the day. Pith is going crazy. Tomorrow's salary is the latest and greatest said. Exactly. It's a good day to be a good day. It's a good day to have a good day, guys. Exactly. Like, subscribe, and join the Patreon. Yes, my friends, it is a great day to have a great day. There is no afternoon live stream today on YouTube. As you know, it is Thursday today, so we do have our Patreon exclusive Thursday live streams with special guests, Maximus Crypto and Rule Black. So make sure you guys are there for that over on the Patreon. The link is in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. You're not going to want to miss that. I can only imagine the alpha that Max and Ruel are going to drop on Pith and so much more tonight. It's going to be great. Okay, Lily, what's going on? Good to see ya. Richie Rich says, Pith now my second bag after that pump. There you go, man. There you go. Pith entering the realm of the top bags. Yeah, Pith entered into my top 5, I think, with this pump. Maybe top 4. Wolf Bane, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. John, Pith, baby. I was recently able to hit my goal for Pith as well. I'm so happy. Thank you, Rob, for everything you do. God bless you and the crypto fam. Absolutely, brother. Congratulations. Pith all the way. Absolutely. Eric, hey, on my phone, I closed the chat and found the like button. Yeah, guys, find that like button and smash it. Jake the Snake says, I was jack stacked, but sadly, I was not fanny packed. My friend, you got to get fanny packed on Pith. A little bit too late. 62.5% up on the day. Dave, what's going on? Good morning, Mike. What's up, Mike? H. Barbarina in the house. PJ Johnson, what's up, man? Darren Swift is just ready to rock it. Yes, I agree. It's going to be moving really violently, really soon. Can I be one of your in-laws, please? Yes. Strawberry Dragon, what's going on? Penny Packer of Trump choose Pith. Then we're about to take off. Couldn't have imagined more bullish news. Exactly. We are climbing. Our time is now. Let's go. Greased up. Twitch, what's up, man? Me either, Jake the Snake. Me either. Trump's crew will dump into Near protocol soon. Hey, maybe. Near's a good project. What's your thoughts on Swift? What do you think she'll get a big pump? I love Swift coin. Swift is one of my biggest bags, and it will pump soon, in my opinion. Braveheart, what's going on? Almost 70% up now, Pith. Wow. Straw. What do we got? Andrew, what's up, man? Patience is key. Absolutely. I appreciate Swift instead. I choose Swift. Hey, Swift is going to move, man. Don't be disappointed in your Swift. I aped into Pith and Swift 50-50. Nice. Not specifically, but do you think Swift coin will have its day soon? Of course I do. 100%. Swift is one of my biggest bags, man. I am Jab. Stargazer, what's going on? Is it okay to hold Crow? I'm up on Crow, but I don't want to sell just yet. Not until it gets to 80 cents. Well, I mean, you could hold if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that for sure. Personally, last night over on the Patreon, I did a swing trade. I took out all the profits from my in-laws were holding Crow. I was holding Crow in their portfolios for them. And I took their money out of Crow and I moved it into Pith last night. So that's what I did. I mean, Crow's still a good hold long term, but it's probably going to see a correction. Pith time is now John Cena. Nice. Over the top, what's going on? AF, happy Thursday, brother Rob. Hope you are okay for your health. I still got this pesky cold. I can't seem to shake it. Yes, MB, it is too late to be buying Pith. I would not recommend you buy Pith today. Not financial advice. But no, I would not be going to try to buy Pith today. Not a good idea. If you want to get into Pith, you should wait for a correction, right? I got over 500. Nice bag of Swift. Nice bag of Swift, man. I'm excited for Pith content. We're going to start getting. There you go. Guys, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe, says AF. At least appreciate Brother Rob's hard work and follow him. Yes, exactly. All I'm asking for is for you to hit the like and subscribe. Swiftcoin's looking wonderful. Absolutely it is. We got 241 people watching. We got 56 likes, guys. That's like a kick in the sack. Come on, hit the like button. It's free for you to do. It doesn't cost you anything. So go ahead and get that done for me. All right, we're caught up in the chat, believe it or not. Let's get into the news. See what's going on around the space. 72.3% up now, Pith. It's just moving, guys. Just moving. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I'm up over 10K. Yeah, Stargazer. I mean, listen, Crow, it's possible Crow could keep moving, like I said, but it wouldn't be a bad idea, man. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. That's all I can really say about it, man. No one ever went broke taking profits, right? If you're up 10K, you know, I took profits yesterday on it. So, quick shout out to the channel sponsor, guys. Decent biometric wallet. Not your keys, not your coins, my friends. Use our link down below. Get yourself a fantastic deal on a 2-for-1 on the Decent biometric wallet today. Keep your crypto safe. Keep it off exchanges. You can swap, take profits, and even stake right on your Decent wallets. Look at this, guys. Look at the bubbles. Look at the bubbles. Look at Pith. Domination. Who would win in a fight, a silverback gorilla or a grizzly bear? Probably the bear, to be honest with you. Probably the bear. Would you think about buying World Liberty Financial before September? No, I'm not going to buy any of that. I saw what happened with Trump's meme coin. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Penny Packer, no way. I'm selling Pith right now. Good man. What do you think about Zebek? Father-in-law wants an entry. Zebek is a great entry point right now. A great entry point. Absolutely. Okay, let's see what's going on out there, guys. What's going on around the world? Let's get into the Pith stuff, obviously, right away. So here we go. Pith Network selected by the U.S. Department of Commerce to verify and distribute economic data on chain. And we'll piggyback off of that here with the announcement from Pith Network themselves. The U.S. Department of Commerce has selected Pith Network to verify, distribute economic data on chain. Today's announcement by Howard Lutnick and Donald Trump marks a landmark step for the adoption of decentralization and validates Pith's role as a trusted data source. Pith has been working closely with the Department of Commerce and is honored to be chosen as the official data provider for this historic initiative. Lutnick's visionary stance on data innovation, positioning the U.S. as a world leader in finance, and Pith is a critical component to this plan. With 100 plus blockchains, 600 plus apps, and trusted mobile built on openness and security, Pith is the ideal protocol for the U.S. government's on-chain push. The collaboration positions the U.S. as a world leader in finance, unlocking new frontiers in transparency, access, and trust. Could you have imagined this 12 months ago? Crazy, right? If I had told you this was going to happen, this kind of adoption from the government was going to happen 12 months ago, you wouldn't have believed me, right? Because 12 months ago, the Biden administration was still full-fledged attacking crypto, right? So absolutely bullish, my friends. Absolutely bullish. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. All right, let's get into let's segue over to Squawk Box. See what's going on over there. So this is the most aggressive assault on the Fed independence that we've ever seen.
Sounding the alarm, this is now months ago, on the dangers of the Trump administration attacks on the Fed. Joining us right now is Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes. He is co-chair of the Economic Security Project and author of the book Market Crafters. It was published in April, which covers how the Fed has shaped markets over the last century. His April New York Times op-ed warned that the president's attack on the central bank undermined Fed independence, and we want to get into all of it. Chris, though, I want to start with this. I think that when I last saw you and I read the book and was reading these op-eds, there was a feeling that if the independence of the Fed was genuinely challenged, that the markets would react, that the bond market would react, perhaps the equity market would react, that would be the governor to some extent on any challenge to the Fed's independence. And yet, for whatever reason, and I'm curious what you think the reason is, we have not seen that.
That was the hope, but I think it's true that the markets reflect the conventional wisdom. And right now, I think the conventional wisdom is that Trump's team is a lot of talk and not a lot of substance, first off. And then secondly, it seems pretty clear that this firing is illegal. And I think markets expect that there'll be a preliminary injunction at the district court level and that the Supreme Court will hold it up. And perhaps there's even one more reason for market optimism, which I don't necessarily share, but that's that the idea that the administration is recognizing that they can only fire a governor for cause. I mean, back in April, we were all worried that they could just fire governors just like they'd done at the FTC and elsewhere. Now, I think that the reality is that this is the most aggressive assault on Fed independence that we have ever seen. I'm a historian of the institution, and there's been all kinds of jawboning, all kinds of threats, even leaks from the president to smear the chair. This is in a totally different league, and I think that we should all be significantly more concerned than the markets seem to be.
Chris, here's the question, though. If, in fact, Lisa Cook did something that was illegal or even immoral, does she have an obligation to step down on her own? Putting aside whatever you think the president's doing, could we hold both ideas in our head, which is to say, you could argue that this is a weaponization and a challenge against the independence of the Fed in terms of how this is being orchestrated. At the same time, there have been members of the Fed board that have stepped down for doing things that may not have even been illegal, but raised questions and eyebrows. And for the credibility of the Fed, there was an argument to be made that they needed to step away.
Not for a paperwork error that was made 5 years ago that has nothing to do with how she's executed her time on the job. Listen, we know exactly what happened.
I'm sorry, but if Trump did this 5 years ago, this very gentleman would be on Squawk Box right now screaming for an impeachment.
Here, the president made threats for the chair. They didn't really work. So then it seems that he asked folks in his administration to go find some dirt on governors. They found a paperwork error, which seems important and something that needs to be rectified. However, it does not go in any way to Lisa Cook's ability to be a governor of the Federal Reserve and to execute her responsibilities effectively. You got to tell me that people—
It questions her ethics.
Like Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, these are very wealthy folks who have reams of complicated tax returns and mortgages. These guys have never made any error in any of that paperwork ever. This is an attempt to find some dirt and then to aggressively prosecute a case. And Lisa Cook should say, no, this is not for cause, and I won't step down.
A paperwork error, if that's what it is different from intentionally misleading something, though. I mean, I guess if that is indeed what happened, do you think she'll come out and publicly clarify that before too long? And if she does, do you think this will go away or not?
She should. I mean, for this to actually be mortgage fraud, which is the term that the administration is using, you have to have the intent to defraud. And I suppose it's theoretically possible that that's true, but it seems very unlikely.
I suppose it's theoretically possible that she could have had the intention. It's theoretically possible, I suppose, right? But it's a long shot that someone would do something dishonest for money, right? It's a long shot.
I've talked to a lot of folks in Democratic and some Republican administrations who have made similar errors, you know, even marking a residence as a principal residence, moving to DC to work, renting it out, and not changing the designation on the form. So, you know, the idea that she was, you know, trying to falsify documentation seems to me to be fabricated. And it's part of this pattern of finding these errors in order to prosecute a case that is really quite thin. And I think the courts will see that.
Chris, let me ask you this then.
Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
Go ahead, Will. No, go ahead, Will.
Well, it's not on the Fed. I just wanted to move on the debate a little bit, so maybe we'll finish back up there with Andrew. But a topic we were discussing yesterday, Chris, interested in your take on this. It stems from this very sad case, but the question at hand is whether or not the next decade will see the big tech players that dominate, the AI names, be classed as publishers in legal frameworks or indeed just common discourse in a way that obviously Facebook and other social media platforms weren't. Because a machine that they own and developed are telling you things, are the owners of that machine responsible for the content?
They are, and they seem to know that. So there's the law, Section 230, which many of your viewers, I'm sure, have heard of, passed back 25 plus years ago in the late 90s, which says that if you are a platform, you're not responsible for the stuff that people post on your platform. In other words, that's not original content that you are responsible for. That's something that those folks posting it post for. And that gives blanket immunity, unprecedented, doesn't exist in any other industry, to companies like Facebook and Google. Now, it's been questioned in the courts in recent years, but so far that still holds. However, for the AI models, because it is original content, each time that they give you an answer, they are formulating an original novel one. That's the whole idea, that they're not giving you the same web page that they would give to anyone else. They are liable for that information. And it seems so far that the models are being trained because the companies realize that they have that liability and don't want to tell people how to build a bomb, let alone, create photos of a teenager that could be circulated for, cyber harassment and bullying. And so I think it goes to a testament to the fact that Section 230 should no longer be the law of the land, even for the social media companies, and should be repealed in general overall.
Chris, I need.
He's skipping. He skipped out.
We have just lost the connection with Andrew there. Andrew's back now. So Andrew, just start your question again there.
I just wanted to ask you one more time, and I'm sorry for the ping pong on the different topics. But on the Fed, there's one topic that people are talking about. We talked with Loretta Mester about this earlier. The idea of, and you know the history of the Fed, the idea that if you could get a quote unquote majority of the Fed, almost a political way, the way that the president has described, that come February, all of the Fed presidents need to be quote unquote renominated. And whether you think that that entire process could get upended.
The short answer is it depends on the level of integrity of Governor Waller and Governor Bowman. So Waller speaking today, so I think we'll all be watching those remarks. But in theory, it is true. On years that end with a 1 or a 6, all of the Reserve Bank presidents have to be, their terms expire and they need to be reappointed. As the monetary policy body at the Fed is the FOMC, 12 different votes, 5 of whom are Reserve Bank presidents. So in theory, if the president got control of the core group of 7, got a majority there, it could decide not to reappoint all Reserve Bank presidents and effectively say to the Reserve Bank boards, only bring us candidates who are going to be deferential to the administration. That could happen. Now, to get to 4 of 7, you'd have to have Chris Waller and Michelle Bowman, the 2 current governors who tilt towards a looser monetary policy. I agree with that. And I think that these folks have spent much of their lives dedicated to this institution, so I think that's unlikely, but it is possible.
It's always frustrating when intellectually dishonest people come on television to talk like that, right? Like I said before, he would be the first one in line on TV screaming for an impeachment if Trump had a mortgage fraud accident 5 years ago. But he's on TV now saying it's not that big of a deal. But if it was Trump, impeach him, get him out of office, that's what they would be screaming, right? Ramona, happy Thursday. Absolutely. She says, and the Fed hit the like. There you go. This guy, F-O, yes, absolutely. Candyman, what's up, man? Pith, baby. I asked my wife why she married me. She said, because you're funny. I said, I thought it was because I was good in bed. She said, see, you're hilarious. Nice. Well done, man. Well done. Eddie, Rob is the GOAT. God bless you, sir. God bless you too, brother. Thank you so much. Big Mike backing me up, man. What's going on, buddy? Love the research, Big Rob. Keep leading us in the right direction, brother. Absolutely. Amen. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for getting my back. I absolutely appreciate it, guys. Absolutely appreciate it. Started a little bit late today, but I'm here. MB says, do you think it's important for XCN to reveal who's behind it, or is it irrelevant? Thoughts? We already know who's behind XCN, MB. Actually, XCN was created by Chain and then sold. It is a completely decentralized project, and then now Chain has now been put back in control of the DAO and stuff like that, right? Organizing the DAO and votes and stuff like that. But as far as who's behind XCN, we know that Chain created XCN, and there is nobody after that. It's a decentralized network. So yeah. All right, what do we got? Ethereum supply shock. Institutions quietly amass 8% as price nears $4,600. Institutions and corporate buyers are rapidly consolidating Ethereum supply, controlling nearly 8% of all circulating tokens. This is the market that is gradually changing its face and causing speculation of an imminent supply shock as Ethereum trades at almost $45.90. According to recent statistics, BlackRock is reported to have been among the heaviest accumulators of institutions. Since May, the asset manager has acquired over 2.26 million Ethereum, with its most recent acquisition being a $300 million purchase. The firm's buying rate has reflected the previous achievements of Bitcoin's ETF markets, which is why analysts believe that the same supply dynamic applies to Bitcoin. Corporate treasuries are also playing a larger role in this shift. Their numbers were meager only a few months ago, but they are now grouped together with a total of more than $3.3 million ETH. That is 2.75% of the supply, and their market worth is more than $14.5 billion. Ty, good to see you, buddy. Paul, good to see you, my friend. BitMine has emerged as a standout among corporate buyers, led by analyst Tom Lee. The company's purchased 1.7 million ETH within 50 days. Lee did not hesitate to reveal that BitMine intends to own 5% of the overall Ethereum supply, which is indicative of the magnitude of corporate ambitions. Yes, I do like Rachel. I do like B3. Yes, it is a good project. Ether funds are further reducing the supply, with approximately 5% of the overall Ethereum currently being held. This value is approaching 6% of Bitcoin ETFs. Market analysts have begun to refer to ETH as digital oil because it is interpretive of its interpretive role in driving blockchain networks and stablecoins. Despite these large-scale acquisitions, price action remains mixed. Ethereum recently touched highs of $4,650 before slipping below $4,500. Short-term economic activity was less active, with daily trading volumes decreasing by 19% to 40.77 million. Analysts warn that a sustained move beyond $4,650 to $4,700 range could open the door to further rallies. An upsurge would take Ethereum to $4,900 and maybe even $6,000, thus pointing out how institutional demand can drive the second swing. Ethereum supply structures constricting under the pressure of institutional and corporate accumulation, with millions of tokens removed from circulation. The quiet buildup suggests growing scarcity that may strengthen upward price movement in the months ahead. Stay tuned, guys. Jacked, stacked, and fanny packed on Ethereum. You know it, you love it. Let's segue back over to Squawk Box, guys. What else we got going on? CDC director fired by the Trump administration. Dun, dun, dun.
Administration saying it has fired the director of the CDC, but attorneys for the director, Susan Monera, is saying she's being targeted for refusing to, quote, rubber stamp unscientific directives. Joining us right now is former Obama administration health policy director, Dr. Vita Patel. She's a primary care physician, also an NBC News and MSNBC contributor. Good morning to you. You know, we keep having these scenarios where somebody's getting fired by the administration and then saying that they're being unjustly fired. I'm curious, as you're watching this out, because this is playing out in your world, what's your initial impression, and what do you think has to happen before we even get into the implications of all of this?
Do you think anybody who gets fired anywhere ever sits back and goes, yeah, that's justified? Everyone says they're unjustly fired.
Yeah, I do think that, Andrew, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. This is actually a pretty historic CDC director because it's the first ever Senate-confirmed CDC director. Previously, didn't require Senate confirmations. It didn't have to go through that process. That means that she got support from Republican senators, had to do the testimonials in front of Congress, the whole 9 yards, which is just an additional hurdle, but also creates a little bit, I think, of what came as a groundswell of support from both the public health community and bipartisan politics, which is not necessarily easy to do. So I do think that that's important for the context. That, and keep in mind that we've got August 8th, the tragedy that struck the CDC on her watch, meaning not her fault, obviously, but certainly something she had to deal with just weeks into her tenure, a shooting at the Atlanta campus that's still resonating and reverberating for the staff. So I do think that backdrop, Andrew, is important because it's a unicorn event, these things that could only happen on top of what you just mentioned about other Trump officials.
Dr. Patel, let's talk then about the implications as you see them from a health perspective. Obviously, we're walking into the fall. Lots of folks hopefully taking the flu vaccine. I know there's a question about taking the COVID vaccine and everything else.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about the public health implications. Yesterday was also significant, and obviously these are not coincidences, but yesterday we saw the FDA change the label on the COVID vaccine to be pretty restrictive, to basically say that if you're not 65 or older, you must have a high-risk condition. How that gets enforced, what happens on the ground in my clinic and in pharmacies, that's, I think, left up to all of us. But the CDC is going to bring their advisory committee, which was, by the way, mostly 99% replaced by RFK Jr., by the secretary. They're going to meet in September, which is actually unusual to be so late, because guess what? We're already seeing a spike in COVID cases, and we're seeing the season hitting us as we would expect, a respiratory season that's hitting us right now. So implications are confusion, people not understanding what and exactly what they should receive. Meanwhile, you've got major and prominent medical organization, American Academy of Pediatrics, American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and others that I assume will follow quickly, making different recommendations than what's come out from the FDA label and what stands as CDC language today. So that'll create confusion when you're walking into your retail pharmacist or into your doctor's office, and we'll have to.
Well, that's my question to you, which is what do you recommend to those who are watching right now as it relates to these issues? And also, you know, I was actually speaking to a doctor about this a couple months ago when we were talking just about CDC language and everything else, about whether it creates any kind of liability for doctors who ultimately recommend against what the government recommends.
Right. So let me handle the first one first. What's happening right now? So I am telling patients what we have today. Most of us in our clinics are waiting for the new shipment of the revised COVID vaccine. And we haven't gotten, Andrew, in the DMV, the Maryland area, we haven't gotten our updated flu shots yet. So we're waiting for those. We're on order and we should get them imminently. But you can walk into a retail pharmacy if they have the supply and get the older version of the COVID vaccine. I know that there are a lot of people, myself included, traveling, school starting. We just want to take that precaution. I think that's completely reasonable to go ahead and do. And then what I'll say is that because of this FDA and label changes, that September CDC meeting, there could be an insurance change where you might not have coverage. Medicare and Medicaid usually follow immediately following that September meeting, but most private insurers will change coverage, if they do, in January 1st of 26. So you do have these months to wait for the updated vaccine. So I've given people a couple of choices. Flu shots, I resoundingly recommend. And then we've got RSV season. I want to make sure that people eligible for that, 50 and up, also get the RSV shot if they can be eligible, and the pneumonia shot. So that's a lot of shots, Andrew, but we have to kind of walk through that for people. Second, to your liability point, that's just blatantly not true. I've got malpractice coverage. This is something that their implication was that if we go off label from what the FDA has and that we recommend a vaccine, that somehow we will have this immediate trigger or potential trigger on liability. I think as long as you go through the informed consent, which is what all of us do for vaccines, should be doing, that we do not have to worry about that liability coverage. What does come up for liability, though, and it hasn't been spoken about, is a little bit of a different permutation. There's a vaccine injury coverage protection program put in by the federal government for vaccine injuries. There's a chance that may not cover you if you received the vaccine outside or off label from FDA CDC guidance. So there are serious implications here, and I don't want to minimize them, but there's more confusion about everything from the top, because if you go to a government website, I'm not sure that you can trust the clinical information they're recommending. And I think yesterday's departure of not just the CDC director, but other staff confirmed that.
So then how quickly do you think this void can be filled at the CDC? Senator Bill Cassidy, who is a Republican from Louisiana, said that CDC's high-level departures will require oversight by the Senate Health Committee that he runs. What do you think he means by that? And, you know, how unprecedented is that type of Senate oversight over the CDC?
Yeah, Leslie, so, you know, I'm getting old. My job before I worked in the Obama administration was a staff director for that very committee under Ted Kennedy. So I know exactly what the senator is talking about. We had oversight staff. We conducted oversight hearings. We conducted investigations on an ongoing basis. That's what he's referencing. I think that is the bare minimum. Let me just say, I can authoritatively tell you that that's the bare minimum of what a committee can do. A committee can actually advance, and because this is a Senate confirmed position, a committee can actually advance, and the senator himself could advance a slate of nominees. We did that on a regular basis. The White House doesn't have to take them up, but putting out a daily call for replacements, giving names, asking for answers, not just through oversight hearings, but you could imagine having actual daily roundtables. Doesn't even need to be hearings, roundtables. I just want to point out that RFK Jr., the secretary, is due to testify in front of the Senate Finance Committee September 4th. we'll see if that happens. That might be the first chance that we get to kind of hear from the administration about this.
Trump firing everybody. Trump firing everybody. Exactly, Strawberry Dragon. Holding people accountable in government. Finally, someone is doing it. And they don't like it. They don't like it. Meredith, what's up, buddy? My guy. Coffee and crypto in the morning. Crypto future in the morning. Breakfast of Champions. Amen, brother. Amen to that. Guys, we have 334 people watching. We have 89 likes, guys. Let's get to 100, right? Don't do me dirty. Don't do me dirty. 85 Crash says, glad I bought Pith, though. 11 cents. Woohoo. Thanks. Hey, absolutely, brother. For the win, man. For the win. Goldman Sachs emerges as top holder for Ethereum ETFs. Goldman Sachs has emerged as a leading institutional holder for Ethereum-based ETFs, reporting a $721.8 million position. This equates to 288,294 Ethereum and places the firm ahead of other major players like Jane Street and Millennium Management. Jane Street's exposure totals 190.4 million, while Millennium holds 186.9 million in Ethereum ETFs. The firm's substantial allocation reflects Ethereum's new role within institutional portfolios beyond its original as a tech-centric asset. Goldman Sachs' position marks a pivotal moment in Ethereum's journey towards mainstream acceptance in global finance. It now stands alongside traditional assets such as equities and bonds. The move by Goldman Sachs indicates Ethereum's evolving identity as a foundational financial asset. Ethereum ETFs holding across and institutional categories reached 2.44 billion by Q2's end. This collective exposure amounts to 975,650 Ethereum, indicating a significant increase in Ethereum's adoption among financial institutions. Investment advisors led the shift, amassing 1.35 billion in Ethereum ETF holdings. Their portfolios now contain 539,757 ETH, reflecting a net quarterly addition of 219,668. Hedge funds also increased their participation, controlling $687 million, or approximately 274,757 in exposure. This represents a 104% increase over the previous quarter. Brokerage firms follow with $253 million worth of Ethereum ETF shares. Their exposure increased by 15.4%, with an extra 13,525 Ethereum in the quarter. Pension funds and banks, in contrast, limited their exposure, which is an indication of different degrees of conviction in the different sectors. Ethereum ETF inflows increased between June 30th and August 26th by 4.2 billion to 13.3 billion. Wow. Such a growth is more than 3 times stronger than the cumulative inflows in the history of Ethereum ETFs. Investors in Ethereum-based exchange-traded funds put about 3.7 billion in Ethereum in August alone. These figures indicate that investors are gaining confidence in Ethereum's long-term potential. Along with institutional ETFs, Ethereum is taking a wider place in corporate treasury plans. According to CoinGecko, the strategic ETH reserve records that 11 publicly traded companies currently hold a total of 3.04 million Ethereum. These holdings are estimated to be worth almost $14 billion as of August. The data highlights Ethereum's integration into corporate balance sheets as a store of value. SharpLink was one of the latest corporate bodies to increase their Ethereum reserves. On August 26th, the company acquired 56,533 Ethereum to its treasury, which now totals 797,704 Ethereum. Although it's a significant move, it is not as huge as BitMine. Ah, yes, we get to BitMine, which has 1.71 million ETH, now worth approximately $8 billion. The fact that Ethereum ETF ownership is concentrated in the hands of the elite Wall Street institutions signifies the growth of Ethereum as a strategic financial asset. Ethereum is no longer seen as a speculative game, with Goldman Sachs being at the forefront in terms of institutional involvement. Ethereum's positioning is also in line with its functionality as a blockchain optimized for financial services. Yada, yada, yada. Buy you some Ethereum, not financial advice. Ramona, these doctors are all in pharma companies' pockets. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Without the shadow of a doubt. 100%. All right. So let's go back and look at Bitcoin's charts. Where do we need to close the day? Dave, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. So we're back right below resistance here, guys, at $112,546. We're $10 below it right now. We want to close above this blue line. As you can see, we rejected off it the last 2 days, and we're below it again. If we close below it again today, it will, in fact, be the third day in a row that we've rejected off of that line. So we got to get above. We got to close above before we can start making our way up to the next level at 114,600. So that's what we're going to be watching for today, guys. There will be no afternoon live stream, as I have the live stream tonight with Rule Black and Maximus Crypto exclusively over on the Patreon. So make sure you guys are there for that. There's going to be some phenomenal alpha dropped, whether it's Pith, Zbec, Onyx Coin, and XRP, and so much more. Get over to the Patreon, guys. You do not want to miss this live stream. And yeah, get in on some coaching calls, microcap gems. We just nailed a monstrous swing trade last night. We have 3 active swing trades we have going right now, 3 open trades on the swing trade tier as well. So if you want to get in on those, guys, jump aboard today. The link is in the description. It's in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.